Hello, everybody. Joe McCarthy here, your favorite polygraph examiner from Finian Polygraph Services, fair, independent, and unbiased verifiers of the truth right here in Texas. I want to talk to you today about a very heated discussion I had with a fellow examiner this morning. Apparently, he doesn't like some videos that I'm posting, and my opinion of that is that sue me and go away, or shut up and go away. Either which way, go away. But this guy comes from the school of thought because he said something that I'm ashamed to admit it got under my skin. He was criticizing how I do my polygraphs, or how I say I do my polygraphs here online. And he says that the friendly examiner or the kind examiner is the examiner that can possibly skew the results into a certain direction. And of course, I responded to that theory or hypothesis with a good old-fashioned Boston. It's bullshit. And I'll tell you where I come from with that. After I got out of polygraph school, I came home and I was a raging jerk, something I'm not proud to admit. I treated examining, for a period of time, I treated examinees horribly. And my intern instructor, Don Ramsey, a very wise and very intelligent polygraph examiner, set me aside and said, Joe, people will talk, or people will respond to their friend. They won't talk to their inquisitor. It's very easy to go from nice guy and step it up to asshole, rather than start with asshole and then step down to nice guy. It's impossible. It is impossible to go from asshole to nice guy, but it's extremely easy to go from nice guy to asshole. And it made sense to me, and I started doing my polygraphs in that way, and it worked out well. And all these years I've been doing polygraphs since 2005, it has continued to work out well for me. And I feel better about myself every day when I leave work. Because if ultimately I do decide that I'm going to treat you like a douche, it's because you've earned it. And we'll get to that at the end of the video. When you're kind and when you're nice, at the end of the day, if there's a deception indicated, and that examinee goes off to wherever their source is and says, I failed the polygraph because the guy was a jerk. You know what? The tail of the tape's going to say something different. Because there's that camera that's up in the corner inside of my office. Tail of the tape's going to say something different. When somebody leaves my polygraph room with a deception indicated, they've got no excuses. The only person that they have to look at is themselves. Now, to the polygraph examiner that is a douche, the excuse is there. He treated me like a jerk from the moment I walked in the room, and blah, 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 blah. And that's why I came up inconclusive. That's why I failed. And you know what? That's not an unreasonable thing for somebody to look at if an examinee says something like that. It's not an unreasonable thing to call that examiner to the plate and get a copy of the video, because the video never lies. If you had to go from nice guy to asshole, guess what? That guy's got no excuse. That guy or that woman has no excuse, because boom, there's the video. Okay? And the person can make the judgment call themselves. Okay, whoever that source is, be it a lawyer, be it a hiring officer from police department or fire department, whatever. Okay? A good examiner gets rid of all excuses before the chart is even run. I'm a good examiner. That's how I do things. Other examiners, they want to hold on to being that jerk. If it works for them, great, but I don't see how it could. Okay, now, on the alternative side of that, okay, if you got an examiner that's a jerk throughout the test, well, how are you coming into that office? Because sometimes that examiner is a jerk because every once in a while, I'm not saying all of you, but every once in a while an examinee comes into a polygraph office and he is a raging asshole himself. And what's really worse is I've seen some instances when I've done quality control where it's pretty obvious that they've even treated the examiner's staff like a douche. If you're going to act like a douche, you're going to get that back. Bottom line. You go into a polygraph examination, your demeanor should be peaches and freaking cream. Because if you do it the other way, well, you're not going to have a good day. Now, I know that some of you are going to sit there and say, well, Joe, what if the examiner's a jerk to me right from the outset? What if the examiner's the douche? Suck it up, buttercup. Paint the smile on your face, because that's just, don't let that person rattle you. Because either you're telling the truth or you're not. If you're telling the truth, stay the course. No matter how bad that examiner or that examiner's staff is treating you, you smile and you keep on coming. But if you're the reason, if you come into that polygraph being a douche yourself, then you got no excuses. You've got nobody to blame but you. Take responsibility for your own actions and own your own behavior. But again, if you got that examiner that's being that way with you for no good reason, you know what? Kill him with kindness. That's the best way to do it. See, now I'm addressing both sides of the issue. But bottom line is, anybody that'll tell you that the kind examiner or the friendly examiner is an examiner that skews the test in one direction, you know what? If that's the fact, if that's really their opinion, then I guess polygraph's not as good as they think. Just something to chew on. And you know who you are. Cheers.